Hello and welcome to Programming 1 in Python. Today we are going to move to the computer finally, from the whiteboard to the computer where we will be working from here on out. I thought the whiteboard was much better for explaining basic concepts, but the computer is going to be more functional, so that's what we're actually going to work on. So, to start, we're going to go with some of the programs that we actually did on the whiteboard. So, when you open Python, what you're going to get is this, Python 3.4.1 shell. What the shell is basically your display that we had on the whiteboard. It's just a display. So if I want to get this window over here, which we'll be programming in, I just need to go over to File, New File, and it'll pop right up. There you go. And before you can even run this, you need to save it. So you're going to have to save the file, go to Save File, Save As, or whatever your choice. But you'll have to save it. I have one over here, saved as Introduction to Programming.py. So from here we can do our programming. So let's get straight on into it. On the whiteboard, I'm just going to go through some of the programs we wrote just quickly. We had the program where it would just take x, set it equal, take x which was equal to 0, y which was equal to 10, and then it would print x plus y, or well, x would be set to y, yada yada. So let's do that. X is equal to, no, all caps. X is equal to x. Actually, I'm just going to move my, let's see, options. You can also go to configure here. I'm just going to change my font size real quick. 16, apply. I don't know if I like that. 20. Okay, apply, okay. A little weird over here, but whatever. It'll be easier to see on the video. X is equal to x, or is equal to 0, y is equal to 10. Move this over. Now we're going to do x is equal to y plus x, print x. Now, to run this, you have two ways. You can go up to run and hit run module. It'll ask you to save it, unless you hit control to save it. Then it'll run and you'll get your result here. Alternatively, on your keyboard, you can just go ahead and hit F5, which will do the exact same thing. That's it. Now, the interesting thing about the print function, the print function will take just about anything. Because x is equal to 10 in this case, it just prints out 10. But I could just do print 10 and get the same result, F5. It'll just print 10 twice now. Alternatively, I could do print 10, which would be a string value. Hit F5, we'll get the same thing. Again, it just does it like this. Now, you can just a lot of things. You can also add multiple values, which is kind of important. So I could do something like this. Print number, well, string number, now comma x. And then hit F5. It will actually add the word number to the front because I put the number in as a string, so it's adding the strings. And then it will add the space automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. You can turn that off, but I'm not going to go into that. So that's how the print function works. Now, let's move on over to input. We'll write a simple program where we need to take user input, convert it to a number, and do stuff with it. So, here we go. I'm just going to save this before I start, and I'm going to restart the shell. Let's go over here, go up to shell, restart shell, and I don't remember how to. I'm just going to do it that. Just closed it out. Okay, so now I'm going to create our program. What we're going to do here is we're going to take a number and we're going to do stuff with said number. So let's just make a variable called num. Number is equal to 0, and we'll take our multiplier, which I'm going to do multi for. Multi is equal to 90, why not? Now we're going to do something simple. Num is equal to input number to multiply by 90. So what it's going to do is it's going to ask the user for input, then it's going to go, okay, let's take that input and we're going to set it to number. And now we're going to print, or sorry, no, now we're going to do, let's make another variable real quick. Result is equal to 0. And we're going to change the value of result. So, come down here a bit. Result is equal to num times 90. I didn't go into mathematical operators, but they're pretty simple. It's just multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And then there's one extra called modulus, which we're not going to use. Oh, I'm sorry about my little noise there. That's my email. Okay, so now we're just going to print out result. Print result. F5. What number do I want to multiply by 90? I'm going to put 80 in there. Ooh, got a problem here. Okay, so this is not hard, or not a thing. This is not a weird thing that actually happened. When we actually added the number, I actually expected this to crash, not to do that. What we did was we didn't convert it into a number. So we gave it the number 80, and it said, I'm going to do that 80 over and over again. So if I were to put in, like, high, it should, yep, make a bunch of highs. So it just took the word high and put a bunch of highs in. So there's a little bit of dynamics in your programming. But what we want to do is we want to make this into an integer. We want to make it into an integer, or at least a float. So to do that, we put integer there. There you go. Now we're just going to do, remember to close your parentheses. Always remember to close your parentheses. Create a lot of problems. What we can do with the integer now is we can do our mathematical operations. Yay! Let's do our 80 this time. There we go, 7,200. Okay. Also, if you want to make things clean, semicolon space. Control S5, 80. There you go. So yeah. Now this little conversion up here where I said int is actually considered an explicit conversion because it happens explicitly. You have to declare it. An implicit conversion would be something like I want to set an integer to a float, and a float's just another way of storing numbers. An integer stores only whole numbers. So if you need numbers, use the integer. Now there are also, if you want to get a string from something, is str, which is the same thing. Float does the same thing. I don't know if Python supports double, but we didn't talk about double. No, it doesn't. We haven't talked about double, and it's not going to help us anyway. So there you go. So those are the basics of Python. In the next video, we're going to cover some random integer functions. And we're going to start on our first program where we'll convert the temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Alright. Happy programming. See you in a few minutes.